Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno asked the House of Representatives to allow her camp to cross-examine the complainant and witnesses in the impeachment complaint filed against her. Here's why from Grace Casin.
Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno wants to be able to cross-examine through her lawyers the complainant and the witnesses in the impeachment rap filed against her. The camp of Sereno submitted a letter to the House Committee on Justice to request to allow her camp to do the cross-examination. Sereno's lawyer, Attorney Anzandin, notes it is the right of the accused to be able to do so.
If the complainant will be allowed, of course, to present witnesses and direct examinations will be conducted, hindi ho ba patas lamang po na ang Chief Justice ay mapapayagan din naman na makapag-cross-examine ng witnesses.
On the other hand, the complainant, Attorney Larigadon, says he is not afraid to face the country's chief magistrate.
Oo, walang problema dahil ako yung complainant. I'll be happy to shed light.
House Committee on Justice Chairman Reynato meanwhile says they will allow Sereno's request. However, Umali explains it's the Chief Justice herself who should be the one to conduct the cross-examination and not her lawyers. He notes it is what is stated under the Section 6 of the Rules of Impeachment.
May right din siya to confront the witness, and so if she wants, then she can confront them personally. We may allow her, not the lawyers, because the rules of the House does not allow lawyers to speak.
Attorney Larigadon has also already submitted a 29-page verified reply to the verified answer submitted by CJ Sereno last Monday. The lawyer says he stands firm that his allegations have strong basis. Now that Attorney Larigadon has filed his verified reply, the committee can now proceed to the determination of the grounds and probable cause. In this stage, respondent Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno may possibly face the complainant and the witnesses who want her to be ousted. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV believes that the result of the preliminary investigation conducted by the Office of the Ombudsman on the alleged hidden wealth of President Rodrigo Duterte can be used as grounds in the filing of an impeachment complaint against the chief executive. Here's why from Nel Maribuhok.
I feel vindicated. At siyempre, talagang natutuwa tayo na kinumpirma ng Ombudsman na totoo yung aking mga allegations na bilyon-bilyon ang pumasok sa mga bank accounts ni Duterte.
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV seemed to have found an ally in his allegations against the president. This is after the Office of the Ombudsman confirms that the documents submitted by the Anti-Money Laundering Council or AMLAC are similar to the ones submitted by the senator. These documents allegedly show the hidden bank accounts of President Rodrigo Duterte. In an interview, overall Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Carandang says they received documents containing bank transactions from the intelligence gathering conducted by AMLAC. The senator believes the results of the Ombudsman investigation could be used in the filing of an impeachment complaint against President Duterte.
Pero wala siyang immunity from investigations. So sa dulo nito, after ng preliminary investigation, pagka na-conclude na yan, hindi lang siya pwede isampa sa sandigan o kahit sa anong korte, pero pwedeng gamitin ito as a basis ng impeachment complaint.
Malacanang, on the other hand, says they trust that the Ombudsman will have a fair treatment on the issue.
Like he has said, the Ombudsman has been continually investigating him. And it is for them really to, in other words, it's not anything new. He respects their internal processes. And if at all, and if they really truly have substantial evidence, then we trust their impartiality on the matter.
It can be recalled that Senator Trillanes initially accused President Duterte during the campaign period of having deposits and credits reaching almost 2 billion pesos. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Senator Panfilo Lacson files a criminal complaint against former Customs Chief Nicanor Faeldon. The complaints also include NFA Administrator Jayson Aquino as among the respondents. Here's why from Ray Pelayo.
Conspiracy among officials of the Bureau of Customs and the National Food Authority to smuggle rice has prompted Senator Panfilo Lacson to file complaints before the Office of the Ombudsman. Lacson said 2 shipments comprised of 21,800 sacks of Vietnamese rice arrived at Port of Cagayan de Oro in March 2017. The shipment was consigned to Cebu Light Trading Incorporated. He explained that those cargoes were already forfeited in favor of the government due to lack of import permit and other necessary documents, but still they were released. The lawmaker said it was a violation of Republic Act 10845 or the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016 and RA 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act.
Dapat kumita yung gobyerno ng at least 34 million pesos, yun ang equivalent. Hindi naman kasi nirelease yung bigas, pinayagang ma-release ni Commissioner Faeldon.
NFA Administrator Jayson Aquino is among the respondents for allegedly issuing import permit. Respondents who are still active in government service are also facing administrative case for grave misconduct. Lacson said this is just one of the complaints that he plans to file against Faeldon. The senator says he wants to prove his prior allegations against the former BOC chief.
Ito hindi in retaliation sa kanyang mga ginagawa, kundi just to prove my point.
UNTV News is waiting for a statement from the side of Faeldon and Aquino as well as from other respondents of the complaints. Ray Pilayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, Senator Antonio Trillanes IV threatens to expel Senator Coco Pimentel from his leadership post. Nel Maribohok tells us why.
Senator Antonio Trillanes turned his dismay against the chair of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee to Senate President Aquino Pimentel III. According to Trillanes, if Senator Richard Gordon will remain as chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee, he will make an effort to oust the Senate President.
Sa akin, for as long as si Senator Gordon andyan sa Blue Ribbon Committee, I will put the blame and responsibility kay Senator Coco Pimentel. So, pagka hindi nila tinanggal yan, talagang I will work hard para matanggal din si Coco Pimentel, si Senator Coco Pimentel, para matanggal si Senator Gordon.
Trillanes is complaining against Gordon for the latter's manner of handling the committee hearings. It can be recalled that the two engaged into a heated argument in the midst of the investigation on the billion-peso Cebu shipment scandal. But Senator Pimentel is unfazed of Trillanes' threat. For his part, Senator Gordon prefers to ignore Trillanes.
Hindi ko pinapatulan yung mga ganyan salita na papatanggal niya, mga mandadamay pa siya. Nakakalungkot naman yung ganyan. You should act like a senator.
Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Malacanang maintains that President Rodrigo Duterte has not officially appointed former chairman of Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, Martin Dino, to any government post. Rosalie Cos explains why.
Yesterday, former SBMA Chairman Martin Dino claimed that he was offered Undersecretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government.
Totoo po, pinatawag ako sa Malacanang at ako ay inopera ng posisyon. Ito po yung Undersecretary for Barangay Affairs. At nung nakausap ko ang ating presidente, sinabi niya nga sa akin na kung maari ay tulungan ko siya dito sa barangay government.
But presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella said the offer was made prior to the removal of Dino as SBMA chairman. When asked why ESMA was preferred over Dino to lead SBMA, Malacanang says the reason is competency.
The offer was made earlier, much earlier. However, that was apparently before this situation occurred where he was replaced. I don't have the official statement, but I'm sure one of the reasons is because the apparent competence of the new administrator.
Meanwhile, Malacanang refused to give comment on the corruption allegations of Dino in SBMA. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
In other news, hazing death suspect John Paul Solano vows to divulge all he knows about the death of hazing victim Horacio Castillo III. At 12 in the afternoon today, Solano was temporarily released. Grace Casin tells us why.
The Manila Police District or MPD freed John Paul Solano after the Department of Justice or DOJ issued a resolution yesterday which ordered the release of the suspect in the death of hazing victim Horacio Castillo III. Solano has thanked the MPD for treating him properly. He also has this to say to the parents of Acho.
I would like to, yun din po, again, extend my deepest condolences po sa parents ni Acho. And also, rest assured, I will shed light po sa stories sa pagdating po ng preliminary investigations na I will tell the truth na po.
The Aegis Jurist Fraternity member has once again insisted he has no involvement in the death of the UST law student.
I will prove my innocence for telling the truth.
Solano says now that he's free, he wants to see first his family. The DOJ sets the preliminary investigation on the case on the 14th and 9th of October. Meanwhile, the Manila Police were able to break into the office of the Aegis Jurist Fraternity in Laon-Laan, Sampaloc in Manila. This is where the initiation rites conducted on Castillo was believed to be held.
We are very hopeful na aside from the object evidence na makukuha po namin, mas may makakakuha po kami ng forensic evidence for this matter. Kapag nakakuha tayo ng samples of forensic evidence sa isang crime scene at nag-match po yan for comparison doon po sa body ng victim, well, that is a big development.
Among the set of evidence the police target to gather are body fluids, fingerprint, blood stains, and hair samples, among others, that would help in the investigation on Castillo's death. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre has met with the family of Horacio Acho Castillo III this morning. He says the family wanted to talk with President Rodrigo Duterte. Rodrigo Mendoza tells us why.
The family of hazing victim Horacio Castillo III met with Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre earlier today. Aguirre says the family thanked the DOJ for its efforts to solve the case. There was an ongoing investigation by the NBI ordered by Aguirre. DOJ has also placed 20 persons of interest under the immigration watch list. Secretary Aguirre also took the meeting to explain to the family the release of hazing suspect John Paul Solano.
Explain ko lang sa kanila na talagang sa paningin ng aming NTS at parang ganoon na rin yung ibang mga senador sa Senado ay talagang hindi inquestable yung kaso. Kaya pinaliwanag ko sa kanila na yun ang reason kung bakit pinalaya. Pero sabi ko, huwag silang mag-alala kapagkat mabilis naman ang takbo ng ating hearing.
The family also sought Aguirre's assistance to set a meeting with President Duterte. It was granted and the President will have an audience with them on Wednesday next week.
Kulang sigurong humingi ng tulong sa ating Pangulo na sana'y mabigyan sila ng katarungan at hindi magkaroon ng miscarriage of justice. Kasi alam nila na may yaman, may influensya yung kanilang mga katawan.
Aguirre maintained Acho's death will be given justice despite the release of Solano. It's just that Solano has to be released because under the law, there is no reason to detain him for now. The preliminary investigation on the case will begin Wednesday next week. Rodrigo Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
The number of homicide cases has reached more than 15,000 since President Rodrigo Duterte took office. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police claims there were only a few drug-related cases in the recorded homicide cases. Monokson tells us why.
The Philippine National Police or PNP releases its latest figure on homicide cases in the country. From July 1st of 2016 to the 15th of September of this year, the number of homicide cases reached more than 15,000. More than 6,000 of the cases have already been resolved, while more than 9,000 are still being investigated. Of the resolved cases of homicide, 0.75% or about more than 100 drug-related cases are considered case solved, while 1.74% of the drug-related cases are considered cleared and are being tried in courts. According to the PNP, the figures prove the various motives for the killings that happen in the country.
Pilit na sinasabi na itong mga homicide cases, itong mga pagpatay na to they term it as to be extrajudicial killings and related to the campaign against illegal drugs.
The PNP claims many of the homicide cases are related to heated argument, misunderstanding, personal grudge, and even love triangle. The National Police also responded to the survey released by the social weather stations, which shows that many Filipinos do not believe that the individuals killed in the government's war on drugs resisted arrest.
How can we explain now the Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines losing 85 troopers, public servants who died during this police operation, and another 204 PNP officers critically wounded?
The PNP assures it will not tolerate cops who would be proven to have killed an individual who did not resist arrest. It cited as an example the policemen involved in the killing of minors such Kian de los Santos, Carl Arnaiz, and the 14-year-old alias Kulot. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board plans to impose mandatory drug tests to public utility drivers. Joanna will tell us why.
In its aim to assure the safety of drivers and passengers in public utility vehicles, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board plans to implement mandatory drug tests to all public utility vehicle drivers. LTFRB believes some drivers use illegal drugs to stay alert and awake, especially during long hours of driving.
Right now, there is no mandatory drug test in the policy ng LTFRB. So, especially with some reports of accidents happening na may nakikitang mga paraphernalia ng drugs, to keep them awake or on the road, it's high time that we set in place for PUV drivers.
LTFRB plans to issue a new memorandum that will order all public utility drivers to undergo mandatory drug testing. The memorandum covers drivers of public utility jeepneys, taxis, UV Express vans, bus, transport network vehicle services, among others. As of now, LTFRB still cannot identify whether the operator or the government will pay for the cost of mandatory drug testing. Meanwhile, some PUV drivers express approval on this proposal of LTFRB.
Okay naman ako niyan sa mga panukala nila, ma'am. Basta pantay-pantay lahat.
Kasi kung gumagamit ka ng drugs at ginagamit mo lang dahil sa pagmamaneho mo, hindi ka rin kawawa ang mga pasahero.
LTFRB targets to release the new memorandum next month. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board plans to ban package delivery among transport network vehicle services.
The Department of National Defense announces its plan to use savings from Yolanda program for the rehabilitation of war-torn Marawi City.
And Malacanang maintains no official declaration yet regarding ASEAN holiday in November.
Y News will be right back.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, will prohibit the delivery of packages through Transport Network Vehicle Services, or TNVS. Here's why from Joanna.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, and Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, summoned earlier the officials of the transport network companies for a meeting. During the meeting, the government agencies and officials of the transport network companies discussed the creation of policies to prevent those involved in illegal drug trading to use the services of the TNVS. This came following authorities' discovery that some TNVS drivers had been involved in several illegal activities like the delivery of illegal drugs. It can be recalled the TNVS units were also used in the delivery of a bomb that exploded in Quiapo, Manila, and the delivery of some valuables of hazing victim Horacio Castillo III. Such incidents prompted the LTFRB to prohibit the delivery of packages through TNVS. The agency explains franchise of the TNVS companies does not even cover the delivery of packages.
Yung prangkisa na inisyo ng LTFRB, passenger service po ito. So baka nangyayari na kung gagamitin naman lang din yung mga TNVS na magpapadala ng packages, mailayo na dun sa terms and conditions ng prangkisa na binigay ng LTFRB.
The LTFRB explains that the agency has no jurisdiction over the regulation of courier services of transport network companies. PIDEA meanwhile insists that all packages or baggages being delivered through courier services of Uber and Grab should be open and checked. The agency notes that if the owner refuses to have his package checked, the driver can cancel the particular transaction.
So dapat ngayon na napagkasunduan namin, talagang i-open na lahat ng packages na padi-deliver para malaman talaga kung ano ang laman nun. Required na mag-fill up na ng form ngayon ang sender. Magpe-present din siya ng identification niya. Isi-xerox, dapat kasama yun, naka-photocopy yung kanyang identification para may kopya yung yung driver.
Uber and Grab meanwhile assured the government that they would not rate negatively their partner drivers for doing so.
We will find a mechanism, a process by which itong mga drivers natin ay hindi ma-penalize just because tumanggi.
On the part of Uber, we support our drivers' rights to say no to bringing packages because Uber services here are for passengers only.
Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Philippine Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano has told his American counterpart, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, that the Philippines is open to any investigation on the government's war on drugs. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
After personally meeting each other at the United Nations General Assembly, Philippine Foreign Affairs Alan Peter Cayetano and his American counterpart, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, held a bilateral meeting at Washington, D.C. in the United States this week.
We have a number of important issues on which to discuss, and not the least of which is the important upcoming East Asia Summit in Manila. So, welcome, Mr. Secretary.
Secretary Cayetano told Secretary Tillerson that the Philippines is ready to allow independent observers or investigators to scrutinize the Philippines' problem on illegal drugs and the administration's war on drugs. However, Cayetano requests for an honest conduct of investigation that is not tainted with politics. The Philippines Foreign Affairs Secretary emphasizes to Tillerson that the Philippines does not allow state-sponsored killings, especially of drug suspects. Cayetano also expresses gratitude to the United States for helping the Duterte administration in its campaign against illicit drugs, noting that the Philippines remains open to receiving more aid from the Washington. Before his bilateral meeting with Tillerson, Cayetano participated in a forum at the headquarters of the Central for Strategic and International Studies, a think tank group based in Washington, D.C. He discussed the current foreign policy of the Philippines, including the controversial issue about North Korea. According to the former senator and now diplomat, the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs is coordinating with Philippine embassies and consulates near North Korea regarding repatriations in the event the tension between Washington and Pyongyang further escalates.
Well, as much as humanly possible, lahat ng ating embassy at post ay naghahanda sa areas na may reach ang missiles ng North Korea. As you know, nabanggit na nila ang Guam, and then of course yung mga nasa South Korea, then Japan, no? But sama-sama po tayo magdasal at manalig na hindi dadating sa ganung punto.
Ray Pilayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Former Supreme Court Chief Justice Reynato Puno believes the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law is unlikely to be enacted without charter change. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Due to the current form of government the Philippines has, which is unitary, former Chief Justice Reynato Puno said the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law will face difficulty or may not totally succeed. This is because the constitutionality of BBL is more likely to be challenged before the Supreme Court. For the former Chief Justice, the conduct of a charter change first before the BBL is a safer course.
It will be very difficult for this bill to overcome a constitutional challenge before the Supreme Court. Because precisely, we have a unitary government that is not empowered to grant this identity-based demands of our Muslim brothers. These identity-based demands can be granted only in a federal form of government.
The former Chief Justice also said the sooner the Philippine government is federalized, the better, especially the transition cannot be determined. However, there are no particular appointees yet for the 25-member consultative committee ordered created by President Duterte in December 2016 to review the provisions of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Even former Chief Justice Puno himself, who is reportedly a nominee and a popular federalism advocate, has not received any formal offer from Malacanang.
I do not know whether the commission has been fully constituted, but as far as I know, I have yet no appointment, and so there is nothing to accept.
Malacanang pointed out that the appointment of certain people for the consultative committee to review the Constitution, which will give way to the charter change and federal form of government, undergoes certain processes.
People are being vetted, and I believe, as far as I'm concerned, people have already been tapped, and I think they're just waiting for the right time.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Meanwhile, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, or BIR, filed today 14 tax evasion complaints worth more than 260 million pesos before the Department of Justice, or DOJ. Among those facing complaints are 11 delinquent taxpayers from Metro Manila and Pangasinan who all failed to pay their taxes from 2008 to 2011. The BIR also filed a complaint against a businessman based in Manila after authorities caught him selling cigarettes with fake tax stamps. 2 companies based in Makati are also facing complaints for using fake tax clearance certificates.
This is a reminder, again, for our taxpayers that the BIR is serious in implementing the criminal provisions of the tax code. The rate program is very much alive and being implemented by the BIR.
The Department of National Defense, or DND, announces the government's plans to use the savings from the program for Yolanda victims for the rehabilitation efforts in the war-torn city of Marawi. Joanne Nano tells us why.
According to DND Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, the unused fund from the rehabilitation program for the Yolanda hit areas and families is at 7.5 billion pesos. 5 billion pesos of which Lorenzana says will be used for the rehabilitation of the Marawi City this year.
This is actually the savings for past ang pagkakaintindi ko galing ito dun sa savings no natitira sa Yolanda. Yolanda has still about 7.5 billion. So kinuha nila yung 5 billion nilagay muna sa Marawi.
The Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, allocates the 5 billion pesos to the pre-development expenses of the conflict-torn area. Of the said amount, 1 billion pesos is allotted for the temporary housing of the displaced families. 3.4 billion pesos will go to the relief operations of the affected individuals. 300 million pesos is allotted to efforts to maintain peace and order in the area, and 13 million pesos will go to the repair and construction of infrastructure and information.
Itong 5 billion na to, wala pa sa reconstruction. Pang-support lang ito doon sa mga mostly para sa mga evacuees. So that they will also pang-sustain sila araw-araw. Malaki yung ating ginagastos diyan na pagkain ng mga evacuees.
Lorenzana, however, notes the said amount does not cover the entire reconstruction program for Marawi City. The Defense Secretary says the military still has to clear the roadblocks in Marawi City until the end of this year. The Armed Forces of the Philippines also has to conduct post-assessment in the area and create a master plan before implementing a reconstruction program next year. Lorenzana assures there would be no problem in the use of funds from the Yolanda program, noting it will only be allocated to the rehabilitation of Marawi City. Johanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Authorities are awaiting the results of forensic examinations conducted on the remains of 2 Vietnamese fishermen found dead inside their intercepted vessel in the Sea of Bolinao in Pangasinan. Abby Santa Ines tells us why.
The remains of the 2 Vietnamese fishermen have undergone forensic examination. The 2 Vietnamese nationals were allegedly killed during an operation conducted by the Philippine Navy in the Sea of Bolinao in Pangasinan. Philippine National Police or PNP says they are waiting for the result of the autopsy report to determine the cause of the death of the 2 foreigners. Based on the initial spot report of the PNP, the 2 Vietnamese nationals sustained gunshot wounds. They were identified as Le Van Liem and Le Van Reo. The PNP Scene of the Crime Operatives or SOCO are also examining the fragmented bullets discovered in the crime scene.
Ang ginawa po kasi ng SOCO ulit para mas malinaw kasi po yung microscope nila, mas maganda po ang kuha nila sa krami, so pinadala ulit po nila sa krami yung kwan po niya, yung result po niyan. And then doon naman po sa autopsy report po, complete na po yung autopsy report na ibigay na po sa task force.
2 of the arrested Vietnamese nationals have already executed their sworn statement, while the 3 others have yet to execute their statement with the help of an interpreter from Vietnam. The Philippine Navy chief, captain, and the members of his crew have already submitted their affidavit to the Philippine Coast Guard. The consolidated reports the task group received are expected to be released next week. Abby Santa Ines, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
2 institutions based in Singapore will share best practices in tourism to more than 100 participants in Cebu City. Abby Santa Ines will tell us why.
The Department of Tourism or DOT and Singapore-based Republic Polytechnic and Temasek Polytechnic signed a memorandum of understanding today at the office of the Cebu Provincial Government. About 120 representatives are expected to benefit from the best practices the 2 Singapore-based institutes will share. The participants are from different local government units or LGUs, hotels, museums, and travel and tour services providers across the country.
The provincial government, through the Provincial Tourism Office, continues to work towards community-based sustainable tourism in line with the provincial government's goal of sustained and inclusive growth in the countryside. We want our communities to take pride in what is local, authentic, and homegrown.
The first part of the program was held today through a workshop where the participants listened to discussions about the best practices in tourism development of one of the most developed countries in the world, Singapore. The representatives are also expected to have a study visit in Singapore to learn more about the highly successful tourism industry in the country.
We encourage the participants to take advantage of this opportunity to learn more about tourism services and upskilling for this competitive marketplace. This exchange will let us draw on both educational experiences to learn and apply new knowledge and competencies.
The cultural and heritage and ecotourism of Singapore are among the examples of the best practices and emerging trends in the industry of tourism. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Coming up on Y News. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe dissolves parliament and begins campaign trail for a snap election in October.
Gasoline and diesel become liquid gold in Puerto Rico as demand surges following the wrath of Hurricane Maria.
And UNTV sets to launch tomorrow a reality TV show for nature lovers and diving enthusiasts, The Dive.
More from Y News after this break.
Policemen get excited as they audition for Songs for Heroes 3 concert. Mon Lacson will tell us why.
Members of the Philippine National Police or PNP auditioned for the upcoming Songs for Heroes 3. The Cups showcase their talents in singing and dancing. It's been 4 years since the National Capital Region Police or NCRPO fitness team was first created. Since then, the group has already joined various dancing competitions. However, according to the group, they would be glad to join in the Songs for Heroes 3.
Yung contribution ba namin sa aming mga kasamahan na magiging beneficiary po nito, sa pamilya po nito, is napakalaking tulong po namin para sa
The policemen are excited and happy to be chosen to participate and perform in the Songs for Heroes 3, a concert dedicated for their colleagues who sacrifice and are sacrificing their lives to attain peace in the southern part of the country.
Masaya po bilang isang kasama ng men in uniform na tinatawag po natin. Mas masaya po ako na bahagi po ako na makakatulong po sa kanila. Actually, pangalawang beses na po ito kasi yung Songs for Heroes 2 nakasama na rin po ako.
The PNP has expressed gratitude to UNTV for helping injured and fighting policemen in Marawi City.
Alam niyo po, ang Song for Heroes na itong programa na to ay napakagandang programa ng UNTV kasama ng kapulisan at ng kasundaluhan. Ito po ay isang pamamaraan para masuportahan po natin ang pamilya ng mga naiwanan nating mga kasamang pulis at sundalo sa Marawi incident.
Policemen and soldiers battling terrorists in Marawi City are getting their inspiration to the concern and assistance the Filipino people express. UNTV organizes the Songs for Heroes 3, which will be held on the 31st of October at the Mall of Asia Arena. Mon Lacson, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Our kasangbahays who are diving enthusiasts and lovers of nature have something to watch out for on UNTV. Leslie Longboan tells us why.
Let us all be amazed by the beauty of the underwater world through the newest diving TV show in the country, The Dive. The program will tour us to various wonderful dive sites in the country together with Argentinian dive instructor from Professional Scuba Diving International or PSI, Luis Heredia, and UNTV feature reporter Brian Evangelista.
Ang layunin ni Kuya dito is maipakita yung nakamamanghang mga dive sites natin dito sa Pilipinas. Yamang tayo yung nasa puso ng sentro ng Coral Triangle kung saan ito ang bahagi ng mundo na nandito lahat ng pinakamaraming klase ng isda, pinakamaraming klase ng corals na lingid sa ating kaalaman.
Brian says the dive will feature wonders of creation underneath the sea, which are not known to many. Apart from being entertaining, the program is also informative as marine biologist host Mr. Luis will give us scientific explanation of the sea creatures we will discover.
Huwag mo kalimutan na 2/3 ng mundo ay tubig. Kaya kung marami kang nakitang maganda sa ibabaw, mas marami ka pang makitang magagandang gawa ng Diyos sa ilalim. Kaya dito sa The Dive, ipapakita rin dito kung ano yung mga wisdom behind sa bawat ginawa ng Diyos.
Apart from this, the diving show, which was conceptualized by Mr. Public Service Kuya Daniel Razon, also promotes marine life conservation and protection. This is through artificial reef planting to serve as temporary shelter of fishes as well as underwater cleanup drives.
Come enjoy that journey down into the risen tides.
Meanwhile, up-and-coming OPM band Plethora is proud to be chosen to sing the theme song of the reality diving show. The group says they are awed by the program's concept.
Ang galing nga po ng concept po ni Kuya Daniel kasi naisip niya po na gumawa ng ganito pong program para ma-promote po lalo yung mga hindi pa po nakikita na mga diving sites dito sa Pilipinas. Nang sa gayon po, mas mahikayat po yung mga Pilipino tsaka especially po yung international tourists po na pasyalan po.
The dive will air on UNTV every Saturday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. starting on September 30. Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Hey Will, you like diving?
Yes, actually, I've always wanted to dive because of the, it's like a totally different frontier.
Have you tried diving?
No, I haven't. It's
a plan.
Yes,
How about
definitely.
I don't know how to swim.
So
Yes, but anyway,
yes, Darlene, go ahead.
yes, let's greet our friends from the Members Church of God International of Happy International Thanksgiving Day tomorrow.
Happy PBB
Happy
to
PBB
everyone.
to everyone. Well, those are the reasons behind the news, September 28, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan because we need to know
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching.
why news.